Welcome to the Service MVP podcast, and my name is Joe Crisera, America's Service Coach. And I'm here with some amazing friends of mine. We have Kaylee and Clint Moore from Verge Garage Door. How you guys doing there? Verge Overhead Solutions, right? Is that
So
what
it's
it is?
Verge Entrance Solutions, Joe. Don't lose
Verge
us.
Entrance Solutions. I'm going to get it two or three times. I'm dialing it in. Verge Entrance Solutions. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Glad to be
Joe.
here.
It's a pleasure to be on with you.
Well, good. Well, definitely, you can't say Verge without smiling. Every time I do think about it, it makes me smile. So I've worked with the Verge team here for a while, and one of the things I really witnessed is an amazing culture of the team really working together to support each other. That definitely everything. Not only do the team feel this, but we as service providers feel cared for, respected, and supported every time we deal with anybody from your team. Uh, Thanks, guys. So let's get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Verge and Verge Entrance Solutions, if you don't mind, and go ahead and give us the snapshot about how this company got started and what got you to be such a great provider of service for the overhead door and entry solutions.
Well, sure, Joe. Thanks for saying those nice things. We are in South Mississippi and we are the hospitality state. So hearing you say that our team takes good care of you, treats you well, makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. But our company started around 1989, so over 30 years ago, just like most other service company did. One of our owners was in the trades and decided he could do it better for himself than the guy who he was working for. So he went out and started the company. And for about 15 to 20 years, our company was pretty similar to how it had always been. Small company running in a local market. We had some great people on the team, but just did the same thing day in, day out that we always had. Never had much formal training, never had much formal business acumen other than, hey, we knew how to turn the wrenches and we were good at that. Our business grew thanks to some loyal customers, good work we performed for many years. And then, as we come through the early 2000s into the 2010 2012 era, we really started to look out and see that, man, this industry and the garage doors that we were part of was a very, very big industry. And I know a lot of times people listening to podcasts like this may think, well, I'm just a guy working in the trades in some little bitty town all across the country, but we're much part of a bigger picture with whatever industry we're in. And once we really realized that, we were able to start meeting with different folks and going to different shows and things. And there are so many resources available to help us, be better than we were. And ultimately, we wanted to become better for our customers because, at the core of who we are, customer service is what we wake up for and we're passionate about. So in 2015, we really started trying to become more professional, trying to grow. We did a big rebrand in 2020 to the name we have now, Verge Entrance Solutions, in which we were able to, communicate to our customers that we do way more than just garage doors, and allowed us to have a bigger geographical footprint as well. And all along the way, we've been increasing our customer experience, increasing our internal team member experience, getting more profitable, having a better culture. And life's just great, and we're ready to take over the world.
Well, it reminds me that when you say, Verge Entrance Solutions, it tells you that this is that service is service, right? And so when somebody is a good service company, I can see why, the owner of the company, Keith, who started this thing, had expanded more into different areas besides just a garage door, because when somebody's good at service, they must be like, well, let's at least call Verge and see who they know who can do this other entry way I have or whatnot. Is that how it kind of emerged, where the consumers felt cared for, respected, and supported, and they're like, well, might as well call Verge to see what we can do. Kaylee, what do you think about this? Is that how it kind of emerged there?
Oh yeah, we've had customers say, "Hey, do you guys install refrigerators?" We're out there, and our team member. One of the things we teach them is to treat our customers like family. That's one of our core values, and we joke and say, "Treat them better than your family," because sometimes we don't do so well at that. But, our guys, they help, move boxes if someone needs it, take their trash out to the road, bring them a beverage from a gas station, that kind of thing, just to go above and beyond to leave a footprint in their mind. And those are the things that stand out to them, not the actual door repair. Anybody can do that. And
Yes.
what stands out is them living out our core values and just giving them an exceptional experience.
Yeah, it's that service. That's
Right.
at the heart of the matter. It's the joy of service. Because really, I deal with a lot of garage door companies, and I hear a lot of the guys go, "What? I can't think of any more solutions than just the door or the opener or whatnot." And pretty much that's it, right? I'm like, no, there's way more you can do for people because you're here to serve. And that's why I noticed with the Verge team is that they have the freedom to think of other things they can do for clients. And I think the clients probably in southern Mississippi are surprised by two things. One is that there's an actual business that takes care of all this stuff. I can't even. I didn't even know there was a. I didn't know there was a business that even does all this stuff, right? And number two, it's like, man, not only is there a business, but these guys are like amazing. So the service is better than that. You would think that it's a kind of a hidden business in a way. It's not something that is out there and right on the corner of Main and Main Street in the company. You probably are. It's a more of a blue collar business. You might have stuff like that, but the bottom line is that I think most of the people have now adopted this as saying, hey, this is now normal. We need this business and we need this service too, right? And so let's talk about the steps it takes or what you guys think are important to creating an amazing culture that you have, the culture of service, if you will. Who wants to start? I'm not sure. I'll go ahead and leave it to you two. You guys can tell us who wants to start with this thing. But let's go and say, what's the very first thing you think it starts with when Keith started envisioning how to build this service? What did it start? Tell us, like, what's the most important thing that you think at the top of the list that we need to start with to build a culture where everybody feels free to serve our clients?
So I think the first thing is a clear vision. For years, Keith and Clint, before I stepped on board, said I come from a teaching background. So, I taught kindergarten, first and second grade, and pretty much every day what I did was take a vision of what they needed to learn and make it very, basic for everybody to understand. And so that's what we started with when I came on board, is to take the vision that was in, the president's head and send it out as a clear message to the rest of the team. And that vision has not only, communicated through our team, but also the community, and everybody is seeing it. And so we call that our Dorito. And so if you can see in the background, there's our Dorito. And it jokingly, that name was from a joke when I first, coming up with this vision. I wrote it on the board in a triangular fashion, and I was going over it with this one particular team member. And if you see at the bottom is trade skills, and I was, explaining that that's the least important thing to us when we're thinking about who we hire, and who we keep on board with us, that's not what we value the most. But yes, it's important, right? We couldn't have a service business without knowing the particular skill needed to perform. And so I said, it's like sprinkled all throughout is the trade skills. And he joked and said, oh, so it looks like a Dorito chip and the trade skills are like the cheese flavoring. And so that's where that name came from. So our message is to eat the Dorito. And so we really message that safety always is the forefront of our minds and our decision making. It's at the very top, is the most important. And then the next is our core values and passion statement. So we really make sure that they not only can recite them, it's different to recite it, but to live it out is another thing. And also when we're hiring people, that a lot of that has to be innate within those people. And so we look for people who are going to do that naturally. And we teach our team members, when you're needing to make decisions, think about the Dorito. And so what does our core value say about your question? And then the next thing is our policies and procedures. And so it's very important to us that we have clear documented policies and procedures that our team members can use to help them, to train them. And we also value a lot of input from our team members to help improve those. And then at the bottom is the trade skills. And we say all of those things are what makes us Verge. And because we do so well at those things, we're able to, on the side, you can see profits. We're able to have good profits. And then in return, those profits we're able to put back into our team and our customers.
Well, I can tell you right now, I always hear people say, running this place is like running a kindergarten class. Thank
Mhm.
God we have somebody who actually has done that.
That's right.
And she
This
was very
class doing it.
successful at that as well.
It's like that. It's amazing because, truthfully, I think it is like that. All those things you're talking about, can't just assume people know any one of those things. We have to make sure, just like if you were a first grade or kindergarten teacher, you got to say, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can spell some of these words we have on the paper. Like we have to make sure we test people to make sure that where they're at with it. And I think that's a great value that Kaylee brings to the company, which probably nobody realized. But truthfully, it sounds like to me, Verge is really a training organization first, and then we just happen to do entry solutions as part of that. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, training was my next step that I was
Oh,
going
here we go. I mean, let right into it. So, what's the next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing that's supposed to? So, obviously, get that culture defined. Let's be specific about what we're trying to do, so you can point to that thing and say, "Well, John, does that really? How does that mesh into the safety that we're, doing the job that way? Is that going to be fitting into one of our highest values, or what do you think?" Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So what would be a safer way of doing that job? You can kind of help coach the employees by having that clear vision. And how often is that? Just quickly, how often is that being used or pointed to kind of remind people that hey, don't forget, you got to make sure we're doing this. One of those things that are up there. How often does that happen?
It's definitely daily that we discuss the Dorito.
You know what? I'm getting hungry right now, so you're making me hungry because I happen to love Doritos. So I knew it would be a great fit for me. So great. Let's talk about number two now, the training, if you don't mind going into that, which is obviously one of your strong suits, Kaylee. Talk a little more about that. That's obviously the second thing. Tell us about how you guys attend to that, because a lot of people say we're too busy, got too many jobs, we can't get around to it. There's all kinds of excuses to why people can't do the training, but obviously you guys have pulled through. Talk about that.
Yep. So basically, every problem that we had in the past, with our technician, any team members boiled down to lack of training. And so what we see is, if there's somebody not following a policy and procedure, or, some kind of issue, it's one of two things: lack of training, or lack of our fault and leadership of not having a good policy and procedure in place. So we start, when we hire somebody, they go through an 8 to 12 week training course out of the field. We have a mock setup that they do. We, go over the Dorito, our policies and procedures. We do a lot of skills practice, role playing, because we really want them to be, used to that before they go out in the field. And then from there, we do further coaching, so we don't just leave them hanging. With my teaching background, we like to use the what's the model where you
Market needs.
no, I can't think of what it is, but pretty much gradual release model. That's it. Yes. So, gradual release is we watch us do everything. Then the next step is we do it together. And the next step is you do it and I coach you. And then the last step is you do it on your own. And so we follow that method in our training program as well.
So people feel attended to, like, okay, you showed me how to do it. Let's do it together. I'll do part, you do part. And I was like, okay, now you got this on your own. And it's like, man, now you got mastery. You get into that mastery level. And that's really everything. I think, and of course, Service MEP, we're very proud to be part of that university that you helped create as well, too. We are really it matches up. The values you have match. It's like an overlay compared to what we're trying to do. And it's interesting how you can see different people from different parts of the world, even though we have differences. Like we live in California, you live in Mississippi, but there's a lot more that's the same. When at our heart, we're all trying to do the same thing, no matter where we live and who we are. That it's really the heart of service, and to me that is more important. It's a higher purpose than any culture, any race, religion, anything else that's going on. This is kind of like sets the tone that no matter what, we're still we have this in common. Does that make sense? How important is that to be able to serve a community? You have a diverse community there. How important is that? How important is all that to be able to make sure we're giving everybody equal access to everything we do there?
That's a great question, Uncle Joe. Mr. Keith, our owner, is a very faith-based individual. He definitely lives out his calling every day to be who he thinks he should be, based on his convictions. And one of the best people I know, the best leaders but he does it from a heart of serving people. Kaylee mentioned in the Dorito, our passion statement. Our passion statement here is serving people through exceptional experiences. That's it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you do every day, whether or not you're the, lady sitting here in the office receiving checks, if you're the tech out in the field fixing doors, or if you're the guy who just helps load up trucks in the morning. Our number one job is to serve people through exceptional experiences. And that doesn't say serve customers, that says serve people. So that could be internal customers, our team members, that could be random folks we see at the gas station. It doesn't matter. When you have that V on your chest as part of the Verge team, you stand for something more. And the community sees that, and the community expects to hire things of us because they know, what it is we do. One of the ways that we serve our community, Uncle Joe, is we have a blessings program. And that's something we're very proud of here. And what that is, every business goes out to customers' houses, and you see customers that have needs. Maybe they are going through a tough time. Maybe their spouse just passed away after a long battle with cancer, or, maybe they don't have any family to help take care of them. And one of the things that we do is we're able to just donate our services sometimes for customers who really are we find them in need. And so what will happen is one of our technicians will call their supervisor and they'll say, hey, Will, I'm out here at Miss Jones's house and she's got this circumstance she's going through. I really think we could be a blessing to her and her family. And so we're going to do whatever it is for free. We've gone all the way to installing new garage doors and openers for folks at no charge, and whenever you are able to tell that customer, hey, I just finished up today, and instead of making you pay me, we're just going to do this, from the goodness of who we are. And you just have, grown people just break down and cry and express their gratitude and their thankfulness. I can think of no better way to really, be an example in our community serving than something like that. We try and give over $70,000 a year towards, customers' blessings. And it just goes to show the kind of team that we have who can generate the profits that we need to just to be able to give that stuff away. And that's pretty much everybody here's favorite thing, to be a part of one of those blessings.
I always say that. That's it's interesting because I always say, money is not my master, and that definitely typifies that. Truthfully though, that's why it's important that you're able to communicate a high value so that the profit we make can be distributed to people who need it sometimes. And I think not just passion but compassion is a big part of that, it sounds like to me. And that seems like man, I just got a chill down my spine right now. I can't believe how I didn't know I was going to start crying during this meeting, Clint. You didn't know you're going to at least unleash that one on me right now. I feel warm just hearing you say that. It makes me feel very warm to hear you say that. And it's I think anybody who is at the heart of service, nobody thinks about, you're not thinking about how much money am I going to make when I'm helping people. You're just thinking about, let's help people. Now there is some financial obligations that we have to take care of because we don't want to serve everybody. Make sure nobody takes a hit on this as well. But it's just nice to have enough resources to be able to help anybody we'd like to. It makes sense, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of companies out there probably listening to this podcast who are thinking, man, I would love to do that, but there's not enough money in my checking account to make that happen. And, until you deliver that value, that's whenever you're able to really give back and make a difference for folks.
You have to earn the right to be generous in some way. It makes sense. You have to have that doing it that way. That's great. Well, that is amazing stuff. Who wants to do us a little bit of a wrap up? What's the final thing? You have any final piece for us besides the training, obviously, and then going into that part where that kind of random act of kindness where you're able to do things for anybody that you see is in need. That we could wrap it up with that. Do you have any final words that either one of you want to say then? To kind of give us the final thought here, because we're getting toward the end. Although they say a good podcast starts on time, a great one has to end on time. So,
yeah, there's one more thing that's really been a key for us, Joe, as we transformed our company over the past couple of years, and I'll let Kaylee talk about it, but it's having the right people on your bus.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, so, all the things about the Dorito that we went over, and just waking up wanting to serve people, you have to have the right kind of people who want to do that. Nobody wakes up and wants, says, "Oh, I can't wait to repair a garage door today." But there are a lot of people out there who wake up and would love to make a difference in somebody's lives, whether that be a customer or another employee that they work with. So we really have worked over the last couple of years to make sure that we have the right people, and not only the right people, but the right people in the right seat. Both of those things are crucial to be able to be successful.
It's like, I always look at it this way. When I was doing it, it's like, first of all, I think if I find people on my team that I respect, which is pretty much, I would say, if anybody who's working there, I think respect is a high value, it sounds like to me, at your company. But I know that what drives me is that, like, when I'm thinking about taking a day off, I got a lot of people I respect that I don't want to let down. Does that make sense? That's kind of like kind of the driving force, I think. How do you feel about that? That the core of it is kind of respect for each other, and that we don't want to let people down. Could you comment on that? Anybody give us the thoughts on that?
Yeah, and one of our other core values is we take care of the team. And so, everybody, we really teach them to care for one another. We do a lot of company events where we all get together and get to know each other. We're always doing shout outs to brag about each other, and, different times where we've, gone and helped serve other members. So, Clint and I wake up every day to serve our team members. And so we model that from the forefront, and then they see that and in return do it as well.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Well, again, it's been such a great time, and I wish I could go longer, but we have to wrap this up. If anybody wants to talk to Verge Entrance Solutions, is it okay? Is it an open invitation? Because to have talk. I do recommend a lot of people call Clint already, because it's like, yeah, I think you guys need a little bit of this. And so, the funny thing is, the good news is I know I'm not taking a finite supply, because the generosity and the kindness that you show people is boundaryless. It definitely is endless. You have a pretty big inventory of that, right, Clint?
Yeah, just wish there were more hours in the day, Joe. You know how that goes. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're only the company we are today because of other people who've invested in us and other good ideas we've gone out and stolen from folks who we're more than happy to share. People like yourself, people like other door companies that we've gone and visited, and even people in other industries who we've stolen good ideas from. And one of my favorite quotes is, a year from today, you'll be the same person you are, except for the books you read and the people that you meet. And that, we've really taken that to heart and stolen every good ounce of, invention we can find from others. But sure, anybody's welcome to reach out to us. Clint.Moore@vergedoors.com, Kaylee.Moore@vergedoors.com. We'd be more than happy to help you. Which went through a major software implementation, and Kaylee has some more capacity now to focus on our team, and
Nice.
she's more than happy to chat with folks.
Nice. Well, remember this, guys. You can't steal what has been given to you. So I'm sure that everybody, knowing what you give to your community, it's easy to be generous with you as well, because you kind of set that example. So I don't think you're stealing anything. I think or that nothing's been stolen. It's something that has been freely given. It's definitely certainly by Service MVP, because we are all inspired by what you guys have done over there. And I know everybody who touches Verge Entrance Solutions is also touched as well. Thanks a lot, guys. We will see you guys next time we meet. Other than that, have a great one, everybody.
All right, Joe. Bye-bye.
Bye.